The Horus Heresy, Age of Darkness. And the book you hold in your hands is the start of your journey into the tumultuous 31st millennium, when the wars of the Horus Heresy racked the Imperium of mankind, a dark age of death, destruction, and betrayal. The vast armies of the Imperium are sundered by the betrayal of the War Master Horus, who seeks to overthrow the Emperor and forge his own dark empire. Under the banner of Imperial Loyalist, or the Traitors of Horus, the Space Marine Legions, Mechanicum Tagmata, an endless host of Imperial army clash in a war that will reshape the galaxy. To understand the tragedy of the Horus Heresy, it is first vital to understand what came before it, both the shifting, tenebrous millennia of strife and the two brief shining centuries in which the Emperor walked amongst his subjects and dispelled the darkness. This was the age of the Emperor. 300 centuries ago, mankind first left the polluted, used-up carcass of old Earth for the unknown bounties and perils beyond the skies of our birth world. In those forgotten early years, it is unknown what enemies and trials humanity overcame in our uncaring universe to not only survive, but thrive and forge a domain amongst the stars. Colonies spread across our galaxy so that humanity was scattered across million worlds and found treasures and horrors uncounted. Mankind's mastery ascended to an almost unimaginable zenith, and at its heart lay the resurgent Earth. The promised wonders of our species' earliest ambitions were made manifest, and our application and control of the sciences was unparalleled. Humanity reaches its pinnacle, raised up by the miracles of technology which it wrought, reshaping uncounted worlds in the vision of distant old Earth. The legends which remain of that lost realm of ancient human empires speak of a galaxy of plenty, filled with opportunity, culture, technological progress, and wonder. Hey friends, it's me, the Ebony Otaku, the well-rounded nerd. Thought we'd get back into the Holy Scriptures today. This is my Horus Heresy Age of Darkness rulebook, which also comes with lots and lots of lore. I got all these books, but this one has been really, really good. So this is the companion book for playing 30K, basically. And I also have the Traitor Legion and Loyalist Legion books as well, but they're over in the book bag at the moment. But I thought, in this holiday season, let's talk about a cheerful topic. But no, I find what I love about good fiction, and I've said it before and I'll say it again because it bears repeating, is good fiction lets us take a look at real topics through the safe filter of a separate piece. This is not my reality or heck anyone else's going on. But that doesn't mean that the subject matter contained within is neither relevant or relatable. That's when fiction is done right. It takes real ideas, real bases of characters, things that we can touch and feel with our senses, but lets us experience them in a safe way, and lets us have discourse on them in a safe way. It is so much easier to discuss a novel than what was on the news. So there is safety in fiction. So I highly recommend. But with this one, I thought to reach back to the beginning of the horse heresy. Oh yeah, she can go low. My grandmother on my dad's side was a baritone, right? And my grandfather was a soprano. I inherited both their voices. I've got full range. I can go to the highest high and the lowest low. It's weird. One of my choir directors at church a few years ago, he just wanted to see what my range was. And when we were finished with the range test, he was like, well, that's a result. I was like, yeah. But anyhow, I should have gone into voice acting. But when we think old Earth in terms of Warhammer, and we're reaching back to the beginning and what caused the heresy to heresy, you and me are old Earth in terms of the Warhammer universe. They are in the 31st millennium when we begin in our world of Warhammer. On the sci-fi side, can't talk to you about the fantasy side, don't know anything about the fantasy side of Warhammer. I've seen an Age of Sigmar box. That's all I've got. And I don't even know if that's actually fantasy. Because I'm a sci-fi girly. Because Lord of the Rings exists. That's me. Might not be you. And that's totally fine. But when it comes to the sci-fi side, we are what millennium are we in right now? It's the year 2024. Do you know how far in the future that is? The 31st millennia? It's a long time. So we are old Earth in terms of the Warhammer world. And as far as Warhammer lore is concerned, somewhere on this Earth, the Emperor walks among us. But not just us, he was also walking amongst, the emperors of past nations that have long since died out. He has walked on the Earth with early humans. Like, he is the longest lived human. I use that term loosely, that we know of. You live for 40,000 years, you ain't human. We don't do that. But I stand on that business. But he is the longest lived human, which should make him the wisest human. Age does not guarantee wisdom. It should, but it doesn't. And he has seen the most. That is for true. He has seen more than any other living human at the time, other than maybe our friend John the Grammaticus. It could have been Vulcan, because Vulcan is also a perpetual, like the Emperor, like John Grammaticus, so he is one who cannot die. You could destroy his whole body. If there's a micron left, he's coming back. There's no getting out of this life for him. He will outlive the Emperor, more than likely. It's just how it is. Seems like a lonely existence for 40,000 years to watch everyone that you love just kick off. But that's that far in the future. And what I love about Warhammer and even Star Wars, because Star Wars is a long, long ago in a galaxy far, far away, so anything could happen. Earth isn't even a part of the Star Wars universe. Long, long ago, so not only is it not part of anything we've got going on, but it's in the past. It already happened. And then Warhammer is so far out in the future that 30,000 years from now, yeah, I could see us living among the stars. It will probably take us that long to get there. A lot of stuff to figure out. But once we get it, so we are living here in a time of the Eldar just watching us. Yeah, think about that. Somewhere out there's a member of the Cabal just looking at you with a sour face, going, look at that human. That's my headcanon. Look at that blight of humanity, their smiles and their happiness. Forge worlds, craft worlds. But the Eldar began watching humanity before they even crawled out of the primordial ooze, because the portents, the Farseers, told the Eldar that the humans are going to be a problem. And what's funny is as you read more of the Horus Heresy and we see more of the Cabal involved, we realize that it's not so much that humans were going to be a problem, it's that they could be a problem. And if they have the right kind of leadership, if humans have the right kind of leadership and the right motivation, they can actually do beautiful, wonderful things. We see that, when we read about Old Earth, which is what I read from here. I love the artwork in this book, but I was reading the Old Earth section, and of course the Age of the Emperor, and just the very beginning of the book. But humans had hope. I mean, look around this world. Go look up the wonders of the world, the 7 wonders of the world. Or is it 8? I think it's, got to go back to social studies. But yeah, go look up the wonders of the world, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, the Great Wall of China, the pyramids. These things that just defy what we know to be true. Go look up the terracotta warriors. Do you know about the terracotta warriors? Them 10,000 individual clay soldiers that are guarding the tomb of the first emperor of China that didn't nobody know about until recent history. Nobody knew they were there. So, one, how'd y'all hide 10,000 clay warriors for several centuries? And then 2, how? I've watched a couple of documentaries on how the Forbidden City in Beijing was built. It's the world's largest private palace that's ever been built, and just how they got the materials to the city, floating logs down rivers, shaving off chunks of marble, and the artistry that it took, or what it actually took to build the pyramids. The artisans built the pyramids, not just the Egyptian pyramids, but anywhere we see pyramids on the planet, South American pyramids, Central America, anywhere you see a pyramid, that was art. That was high art that was happening. Or if you look, to the weaving culture of a lot of the Native American tribes, to be able to produce such intricate patterns and colors. Humans are quite remarkable. We have humans that live basically in the tundra and go with their reindeer all over, and they're out there living their best life. We got humans that are able to live in the hottest of climates on that equator, and they are doing it. When you really step back and examine humanity and all that we are and all we're able to accomplish, it's too bad we can't all just choose to get along. And that's what the Eldar were hoping for. Because when humans get along, we do beautiful things. We do. That's why choirs are so glorious. I love an individual singer. I will never take anything away from the greatest singers of my generation. We brought you Josh Groban in our church in Adele. That's us. But at the same time, when you bring a choir together, one of my husband's favorite dates is when we're at the symphony and the symphony has the choir with them. I love an individual musician. I do. I respect the talent. I'm from Nashville, so a lot of my friends are musicians of some kind. We all sing. We all play an instrument in Nashville. That's just standard. Everyone does. But when you get the band together, or when you sit and listen to an orchestra, I love going to the symphony, not just for the music, but just watching the musicians and the conductor. What instrument is producing this sound, and how did they do that? We went last year, it was the season opener for the Nashville Symphony, and they did American in Paris. One, if you've never heard that live, you need to go hear it live somewhere. And we had the best seats in the house for that one. It was great. But the piano player, for part of it, to make a certain sound, actually got up out of his seat, crawled over the top of the piano, and was plucking the inside of the piano. I didn't know you could play the inside of the piano. It was fascinating. The stuff we do when we come together, the sum of our whole, when we are working well together, is beautiful. I love having so many friends from different cultures. Do you know how much food is out there to eat? You better have multicultural friends, because I need to partake in the food traditions of every holiday that I possibly can. That's how I choose to live my life. And that's what humans were on old Earth before all this business with the Emperor started. And the Eldar noticed 2 things. It's kind of Tower of Babel-y when you think about it. Humans united will either produce things that are beautiful, or there'll be a whole problem. There is no in between. They are either going to do great things or they gonna mess the bag up for everybody. And there was a period where humans were producing great things together, where they were accomplishing beautiful things together. And then they weren't. When you think back to the Tower of Babel, so yeah, biblical story here. I do not hide that I'm a Christian at all, but I'm not preaching and proselytizing right now. I'm giving you an example that comes to my mind. But with the Tower of Babel, if you don't know that tale from the Bible, humans once had all the same language, worked well together, and were going to accomplish great things. Um, and then the humans decided they wanted to be equal with God and started building a tower to get to heaven. And God was like, "How dare you?" This is the short version. God said, "How dare you? How very dare you?" And then he went down. He looked at him. He's like, "Wow, y'all either do great things or dumb things when you work together. There's no in between. It's like a light switch. It's like great, bad, great, bad. There's no middle with you people, literally." um, so he cursed humans and separated them by language. And people found those who spoke like them, and then they all separated. And that is where the separation across the planet of humans began, was people started to congregate with those who were more like them. And while in smaller groups they accomplished great things together, all of the humans were not united anymore because we can't behave. And that's kind of what happened. So the emperor could have led humanity in a couple of different directions. He could have led humanity into being a race that spreads their beauty and inquisitive nature and love for life across the galaxy. And humans kind of started out that way. Earth got used up. 30,000 years from now, yeah, the Earth is going to be toast. We're working hard to make it happen now. But, there will come a time that, if we continue down certain paths, yeah, we're going to destroy the planet. We will. It's what we do. We can't help ourselves. Not trying to change it. I'm just acknowledging it. But when the Earth gets used up, humans go out to other worlds. And it even says in the book, in the lore here, we don't know what the early humans who left old Earth encountered. And it was so long that they left Earth that at some point Earth isn't even called Earth anymore. It's called Terra in Warhammer. They've forgotten the name of Earth. It's not a thing. And all of these humans, in their little pockets of people who are like them, go and establish new lives on new planets. Now, of course, that's going to involve wars. Got to manifest that destiny. And sometimes it was peaceful. Some humans were lucky enough to find empty worlds. Some found occupied worlds. Some lived in peace with whatever beings were already there. Some not so much. Many different situations happen. We even see that when you look through the history of colonization. There were places where foreigners met one another. And I mean foreigners regardless. If you're not from that country, you're a foreigner. I'm a foreigner in places. I've been a foreigner many times. I've traveled all over the world. But there were times when people who were foreign to one another met and there was peace. And there were times that there were war. Because humans go human. And the Eldar had hoped that we would end up being the people of peace. That is not what the Emperor had in mind. Because when all these humans left Earth, and he saw that he was there for old Earth being emptied, when he saw those humans leaving Earth, his thoughts were, man, I can't wait to unify us and we can just all be beautiful humans again together. That was not his thought. His thought was, whoa, that I will take these humans back. Hopefully they comply, but if need be, I'll take them back by force. And I will introduce to them a lifetime of war. That happens. It happens now. Most of us have zero effect on who leads us or who makes the decisions. We're just out here trying to live our lives. And somebody with the power has an idea and the means and the authority to make that idea come to fruition, whether it's for the good of others or not. The Emperor was not out for humanity. The Emperor was out for the Emperor. He presented himself as someone to the people that was going to lift them out of their dark ages and enlighten humanity and lead them on a new path, when he just led a bloody trail of death and destruction across the galaxies, and eventually half his sons went, you know what? You're wrong. You kicked in chaos's door, didn't tell us what chaos was. And then we find out that once all your warring is over, that you're probably not going to have a use for us anymore. And you made us functionally immortal? That don't fly. One of the reasons I love Fulgrim so much as a Primarch is he has said in several novels that are centered around him, if we're not protecting who humanity is and the beautiful things we create as humans, then what even is the point of all this war? What are we even doing? His was the Legion, the Emperor's Children, that embraced the Remembrancers being there because they wanted everything written down. Yes, they are the vain party boys, but they also celebrated all things that humans created. Had things been different, I don't think the Cabal would have tried to orchestrate the destruction of the human race at some point. The humans were reaching out to the stars. At any moment while the humans were reaching out to the stars, the Eldar could have taken them out in their infancy. But they were trying to give them a chance. Can we do better? Can y'all be better? Can you be the best version of you? And then along comes one guy with all the power and the smooth words and the big army. And even though together we are capable of doing great and beautiful things, he led humanity into burning down the galaxy. The Great Crusade. Where Terra had once been a realm of unending war, it now became a place of unceasing activity, production, and planning, for it was the Emperor's great cause not simply to bring Terra once more to the light of prosperity and order, but to liberate the unimaginably vast and scattered worlds of humanity from the darkness and reunite them into a single Imperium of mankind. And the Great Crusade was a mammoth operation on an unconceivable scale and complexity, involving billions of troops and tens and thousands of ships, and only a mind such as the Emperor's could have had a hope of successfully comprehending and executing it. Hundreds of thousands of human worlds need to be saved, and as many more alien or otherwise hazardous worlds ravaged if the so-called Pax Imperialis, imperial peace, was to be brought to all beings across the galaxy. With Mars now part of the Imperium, the Great Crusade could begin. The solar system was the first region of space to be conquered by the Emperor and his newly rearmed and re-equipped Space Marine legions. Alien invaders were flushed from the moons of Saturn and Jupiter, and their wretched enslaved human inhabitants repatriated to Terra. The once human creatures of the Neptunian deeps were exterminated without mercy. And the baleful false world of Ascenda at Soul's Edge Light was boiled away to vapor under the guns of the newly forged warfleet. The next step was to conquer the stars beyond. In order to manifest this conquest, the Imperium's forces were divided up into expanding and frequently reconfigured series of expeditionary fleets. Semi-autonomous battle groups assigned to voyage the stars, map the darkness of the void, and make war in the Emperor's name. They were composed in chief of a bewildering array of void ships, great and small, from battleships and war cruisers to Mechanicum arcs, provender barks, and colossal troop transports, and countless lesser escorts, dropships, pathfinders, and scouts. The paths of these fleets were dictated both in general by the Emperor and his war council, but also at the will of their commanders, who were entrusted to seek out the enslaved and destroy the alien under their own cognizance. Their passages were dictated by many factors, apocryphal lore left over from the Dark Age vaults as to where the great colonies might be found, the prognostications of the tech priest of Mars, and the savant scholars of Terra, and the reports of that rare infamous breed of rogue traders given license to run before the fleet as birds of ill omen before a storm, as well as myth, rumor, and legend. There is so much to learn in good fiction. I highly recommend, if you've not found a sci-fi series that you like, definitely dig into Warhammer, whether it's 30K or 40K. It's all wonderful. All just really good takes on things that humans should think deeply about. I think the Eldar realized who the Emperor really was when, at first, where humans were enslaved, he freed them. But what happened when he got to Neptune? There was no enslavement happening. Those humans just weren't human enough. So if he's willing to take out his own kind, who are the rest of us? That's what the Cabal saw. If he will take out his own kind because they're not human enough, he's not going to care anything about peace, love, and hair gel in the galaxy. It's a shame, because when humans choose to cooperate and cooperate freely and openly and candidly, we can accomplish beautiful things. And the opposite of that is only unifying the people we like and making everybody else run scared. All that from some military science fiction. Ho, ho, ho. There, now it's a Christmas video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.